We all carry a hidden burden, an invisible weight that slows our steps and dims our vision. It's not a lack of talent, opportunity, or intelligence. The greatest obstacle you will ever face is not external. It lives within the quiet spaces of your own mind. It's the voice that questions your every move, that amplifies every risk, and that dresses itself in the logical clothing of caution and reason. This is the habit of self-doubt, and it is the silent architect of a life lived in shades of grey, a life of compromise and quiet resignation. Most people never truly confront this internal adversary. They negotiate with it. They make treaties, agreeing to dream a little smaller, to aim a little lower, to be a little less than they know, deep down, they could be. They believe the whispers that tell them to wait for the perfect moment, to gather more resources, to seek permission from a world that is often too busy to notice. This is how potential stagnates. This is how brilliant ideas remain forever trapped as thoughts, never manifesting as tangible achievements. The cost of this internal negotiation is a life of missed chances and unexplored horizons. But what if you could end this negotiation? What if you could stop debating with your doubts and start building a foundation of evidence so solid that the whispers simply have no power left? This is not about positive thinking. This is about a fundamental shift in your relationship with your own mind. It's about moving from being a passive recipient of your thoughts to being the active architect of your mental landscape. The journey to an unbreakable mind begins with a single, powerful decision. The decision to no longer accept the tyranny of your own uncertainty. This journey requires a new kind of contract. Not a contract with the outside world, but an unbreakable contract with your own will. It's a commitment to a set of principles and practices that, when applied consistently, forge a resilience that cannot be shaken by failure or diluted by fear. We are not talking about a temporary burst of motivation, but the construction of a permanent mental fortress. The first step is to recognize the enemy not as a monster, but as a habit. And like any habit, it can be broken and replaced with something far more powerful. Before we can draft a new contract, we must understand the one you are currently living by. Most people are operating under what I call the contract of comfort. This is an unwritten, often unconscious agreement you have made with yourself. Its primary clause is simple: avoid short-term pain at all costs. It promises safety, predictability, and the illusion of security. In exchange, it demands only one thing: your potential. This contract is incredibly persuasive. It has a convincing, logical voice. It tells you that procrastination is prudence. It convinces you that staying in a situation that dulls your spirit is being responsible. It frames the fear of failure as a rational assessment of risk. It is a master of disguise, and its most powerful trick is to make you believe that its limitations are your own realistic boundaries. You begin to believe that the walls of your comfort zone are the actual walls of the world. Let's make this practical. Think of the entrepreneur who spends months perfecting a business plan, researching markets, and designing logos, but never actually launches the business. The contract of comfort has him convinced that this preparation is the work. But the real work, the terrifying and essential work, is making the first sale, facing the first customer, exposing the idea to the harsh light of reality. The preparation is the comfortable substitute for the action. Or consider the individual who remains in a career that offers no passion, no challenge, and no growth. The contract whispers the virtues of a steady paycheck, of seniority, of the known evil being better than the unknown. It rationalizes the slow death of ambition as maturity. The pain of staying becomes familiar, and therefore comfortable. The pain of leaving and facing the unknown seems, by comparison, far too great. So the dream is deferred year after year, until it becomes a phantom of a life that could have been. This contract is not your fault. You were never handed a document to sign. It was signed for you by a world that often rewards conformity and punishes deviation. But now that you are aware of its existence, you have a choice. You can continue to abide by its suffocating terms, or you can tear it up and write a new one. The realization that you are living by an agreement that does not serve you is the first, and perhaps most important, step toward freedom. The foundation of your new unbreakable contract is laid in the first hour of your day. This is not about a frantic, high-energy routine. It is about a deliberate, purposeful takeover of your mental state. The world is designed to capture your attention from the moment you wake up. Notifications, news, the demands of others, they all clamor for the first and most fertile thoughts of your day. If you do not consciously direct your mind, it will be directed for you, often toward anxiety, distraction, and reactivity. Your first non-negotiable clause is the morning mandate. This is a 30 to 60-minute period where you are not a consumer of the world's chaos, but the creator of your own inner calm and focus. This is your time to build the psychological armor you will need for the challenges ahead. It is a quiet declaration of war against the forces of mediocrity and distraction. You are setting the tone, rather than reacting to it. Begin with silence. Before you reach for your phone, before you turn on the news, sit in stillness for just 5 minutes. This is not meditation in the complex sense. It is simply allowing your mind to wake up on its own terms without an external stimulus. Breathe deeply. Let the thoughts come and go without engaging them. This act alone is a powerful statement of self-command. It tells your subconscious that you are in charge. Following this, engage in focused reading. But not just anything. Read from a book that strengthens your resolve. This could be philosophy, a biography of a historical figure who overcame great odds, or a text related to your most important goal. You are not reading for entertainment. You are feeding your mind with ideas of resilience, courage, and possibility. You are filling your mental environment with the voices of giants, so that the whispers of your own doubts seem small by comparison. Finally, write. Take a physical notebook and write down your single most important objective for the day. Then, write one small, actionable step you will take to move toward it. This act of writing crystallizes thought and creates a contract with yourself. It moves a vague intention into the realm of committed action. The entire morning mandate is a ritual of self-respect. It is you saying, "My mind is my most valuable asset, and I will protect and cultivate it before I give it to anyone else." A scattered mind is a vulnerable mind. Indecision is the playground of self-doubt. When you hesitate, when you weigh options endlessly, when you seek the counsel of too many voices, you are not being careful. You are feeding the enemy within. The second clause of your unbreakable contract is the discipline of decision. This is the practice of making clear, timely choices and then trusting your ability to handle the consequences. The modern world offers an illusion of infinite choice, which paradoxically leads to decision paralysis. You spend energy debating which path to take, energy that should be spent walking the path. The discipline of decision states that a good decision made now and acted upon is infinitely more powerful than a perfect decision made too late. Action itself generates clarity that thinking alone never can. To implement this, you must first define your core 4. These are the 4 most important areas of your life that, if you focused on them, would yield 80% of your fulfillment and results. For most, this is something like health, relationships, primary mission/work, and personal growth. Any decision that does not directly impact one of these core 4 areas is a minor decision. Minor decisions should be made quickly, almost ruthlessly. What to eat for lunch? Decide in 30 seconds. What to wear? Decide the night before. Free up the mental real estate. 4 major decisions that impact your core 4. Set a decision-making window. Give yourself a reasonable but non-negotiable time frame to gather necessary information, perhaps 24 or 48 hours. When that window closes, you must decide. You do not need all the information. You need enough information to take the next intelligent step. The rest you will learn by doing. This discipline builds immense trust in yourself. Every time you make a decision and follow through, you send a signal to your subconscious. I am capable of directing my own life. This accumulated evidence is the antidote to self-doubt. You will stop looking for external validation because you will have an internal track record of your own competence. The discipline of decision transforms you from a passive passenger into the confident pilot of your own destiny. We operate under a fundamental misconception. We believe that we must feel confident before we can act with confidence. This is backwards. Confidence is not the cause of action. It is its product. The third clause of your unbreakable contract, the action-belief loop, corrects this error. It is the understanding that belief is built brick by brick with a mortar of action. When you wait to feel ready, you will be waiting forever. The feeling of readiness is a phantom that only appears after you have already begun. The mind is designed to seek evidence. When you sit in stillness, the only evidence it has is your inaction, which it interprets as incapability. But when you move, however small the step, you create a new piece of data. You prove to yourself that you are the kind of person who acts. The mechanism is simple. You take a small, manageable action toward a goal. The action is completed. Your mind, which is always watching, records this event. It says, "I see. We are the type of organism that does this." This tiny success creates a microscopic increase in self-belief. That tiny increase in belief makes the next, slightly larger action feel less intimidating. You take that next action. The belief grows a little more. This is the loop. Action dash, evidence dash, belief dash, bigger action. Let's make this intensely practical. Your goal is not become a public speaker. That is too vast. Your first action is write the first 30 seconds of a talk. That's it. You do it. You have evidence. Your belief ticks up. Your next action is speak those 30 seconds out loud to an empty room. Evidence. Belief. Next action, record it on your phone. The mountain is climbed one step at a time, and with each step, your belief in your ability to climb solidifies. This principle shatters procrastination. You are no longer waiting for a magical feeling of motivation to strike. You understand that motivation follows motion. The most powerful sentence you can say to yourself is not, "I feel motivated," but "I am moving." By committing to the action belief loop, you take the power away from your fickle emotions and place it in the reliable, cumulative power of your own actions. You are building your confidence from the ground up with every single thing you do. Under the old contract of comfort, a setback was a verdict. It was proof of your inadequacy, a story to be internalized and repeated to yourself. "I failed because I'm not good enough." This emotional interpretation of failure is what keeps most people trapped. They try once, fall, and the pain of that narrative prevents them from trying again. The fourth clause of your new contract, the objective interrogation of setbacks, changes the entire game. A setback is not a personal failure. It is data. It is feedback from the real world about your current strategy. When a scientist's experiment fails, she does not conclude she is a bad scientist. She concludes that the hypothesis was incorrect. She studies the data, adjusts her approach, and runs a new experiment. You must adopt the same dispassionate, curious mindset toward your own endeavors. When a project fails, a goal is missed, or a plan goes awry, your first task is to pause the emotional reaction. Do not let the story take hold. Instead, take out a notebook, your laboratory log. Write down the answers to these 3 questions with absolute objectivity. 1. What was the specific, intended outcome? 2. What was the actual outcome? 3. Based on the difference, what is one hypothesis for what went wrong? Notice the language. Hypothesis, not reason. A hypothesis is a testable idea. For example, my hypothesis is that I failed to attract clients because my message was too vague, not because the service was bad. Or, my hypothesis is that I didn't complete the project because I didn't block out dedicated time for it, not because I'm lazy. Then, you write the fourth and most important question. 4. What is the next, small experiment I can run to test this hypothesis? This transforms you from a victim of circumstance into an active investigator of your own life. The energy that was once consumed by shame and self-recrimination is now channeled into focused, intelligent problem-solving. The setback is no longer a stop sign. It is a detour sign, pointing you toward a more effective path. By interrogating your setbacks instead of internalizing them, you rob them of their emotional power and turn them into your greatest teachers. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is not just a cliché. It is a neurological and psychological reality. Your brain has mirror neurons that are designed to mimic the states, attitudes, and behaviors of those around you. You cannot overestimate the power of your environment to shape your thoughts, your beliefs, and your contract with reality. The 5th clause of your unbreakable contract is to curate an environment of expectation. Most people are surrounded by a chorus of the mediocre. They are immersed in conversations dominated by complaint, gossip, cynicism, and small-minded thinking. This is not because the people in their lives are bad. It is because they, like most, are living by the contract of comfort. Their language is the language of limitation. I can't. It's too hard. That's just the way it is. If you listen to this long enough, you will start to believe it. Your environment is either reinforcing your doubts or fortifying your beliefs. You must conduct a ruthless audit of your influences. This includes the people you interact with, the media you consume, and the physical spaces you inhabit. Ask yourself, does this person/place/thing raise my standard or lower it? Does it expand my sense of what is possible or contract it? You do not necessarily need to cut people out of your life, but you must become conscious of the psychological cost of interaction and limit your exposure to draining influences. Actively seek out and invest time in relationships with people who have a higher standard. Find the people who are already living by a version of the unbreakable contract. These are the people who talk about solutions, not just problems, who take responsibility for their circumstances, who are actively working on their goals. Their energy is contagious. Their belief becomes a rising tide that lifts your own. If such people are not immediately available, bring them into your life through their work. Create a board of directors for your mind, composed of authors, philosophers, and historical figures. Read their books, listen to their speeches, study their lives. Let their voices become the dominant ones in your mental environment. By consciously designing an environment of expectation, you create a world that constantly pulls you upward, making the pursuit of your best self not a lonely struggle, but a natural progression. The words you use are not just descriptions of your reality. They are commands to your subconscious mind. They are the architects of your beliefs and the scripts for your actions. The language of the old contract is the language of weakness, hesitation, and doubt. I'll try. I hope. I wish. I can't. These are not harmless phrases. They are permissions you give yourself to fail. The 6th clause of your unbreakable contract is to master your vocabulary of victory. Your internal and external dialogue must shift from a narrative of limitation to one of agency and possibility. This is not about empty affirmations you don't believe. It is about consciously choosing words that direct your mind toward power and action. When you say, "I'll try," you are pre-programming an excuse for failure. When you say, "I will," you are making a commitment to your nervous system. The difference is seismic. Eradicate the language of victimhood from your vocabulary. Delete phrases like, "I have to." Replace with, "I choose to," or "I get to." "It's not my fault." Replace with, "I am responsible for my response." "This is impossible." Replace with, "This is a challenge I haven't solved yet." Replace them with the language of command and capability. "I will." "I am responsible." "I can learn." "I choose." This also applies to how you frame your goals. Instead of saying, "I want to stop being late," say, "I am punctual." Instead of, "I want to lose weight," say, "I am building a healthy, strong body." You are speaking the future into existence. Your subconscious mind is literal and obedient. It works tirelessly to make your inner world match your outer words. By consistently using a vocabulary of victory, you are programming your own mind for success, one sentence at a time. Let's step away from the principles for a moment and ground this in a story. Not a story of mythical, overnight success, but a story of the unbreakable contract in action. Imagine a woman named Sarah. Sarah had a dream of starting her own graphic design studio. 4 years, she operated under the old contract. She had a secure but unfulfilling job. She told herself she was building a safety net and gaining experience. The voice of doubt was her constant companion. Her turning point came not from a grand inspiration, but from a moment of quiet despair. She realized her safety net had become a cage. She enacted the morning mandate, starting her day with 30 minutes of studying great designers and sketching her own ideas. She used the discipline of decision to give herself a 3-month window to leave her job. The decision was made. The ambiguity was gone. She launched her studio, and she failed. Her first 3 pitches were rejected. Under the old contract, this would have been the end. She would have concluded, "See, I'm not cut out for this." But Sarah had clause 4. She opened her laboratory log. Her hypothesis: my portfolio is strong, but my pitch focuses on my needs, not the client's problems. Her next experiment: rewrite my pitch to lead with 3 questions about the client's biggest challenges. She tested her new pitch. She landed her first client. It was a small project, but it was evidence. The action-belief loop began to spin. She curated her environment of expectation, joining a mastermind group for female entrepreneurs. She changed her vocabulary of victory, telling people, "I am building a leading design studio," not, "I'm trying to start a business." Sarah's story is not unique in its outcome, but it is rare in its process. She did not eliminate doubt or fear. She simply stopped letting them vote. She built her new reality clause by clause, action by action. Her resilience was not a personality trait she was born with. It was a structure she built within herself, using the tools of the unbreakable contract. Her success was inevitable, not because of luck, but because of architecture. The unbreakable contract is not a short-term fix. It is a lifelong orientation. It is a commitment to playing the long game in a world obsessed with quarterly results and overnight sensations. This perspective, the long view, is your final protection against the discouragement that comes when results are not immediate. Your legacy will not be built in a day, but it will be built by the days. We live in a culture of immediacy. We expect rapid weight loss, instant business success, and quick mastery of complex skills. When these expectations are not met, we interpret it as failure and are tempted to abandon the path. The unbreakable contract asks you to shift your focus from the unpredictable outcome to the predictable process. You cannot control when the harvest will come, but you can absolutely control the quality of the seeds you plant every single day. Embrace the power of compounding. A 1% improvement each day seems insignificant, but 1% compounded over a year results in you being 37 times better than you were at the start. The consistent application of the clauses, the morning mandate, the discipline of decision, the action-belief loop, is how you achieve that 1%. You are not making massive leaps every day. You are laying another brick in the foundation of your future self. Trust the process, even when you cannot see the progress. Your legacy is being written right now, not in a single dramatic moment, but in the quiet, consistent choices you make when no one is watching. It is written in the pages of your journal, in the decisions you make quickly and confidently, in the small actions you take when you don't feel like it, and in the way you speak to yourself about your own potential. The unbreakable contract is the promise you make to that future self, and to the legacy you will leave behind. It is the promise that you will not let the temporary discomfort of growth rob the world of your unique contribution. Let's pause. I want you to think back over these clauses. Don't think about applying them all at once. That is a recipe for overwhelm, and overwhelm is a tool of the old contract. Instead, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. Which one of these clauses, if I mastered it alone, would create the most powerful ripple effect in my life? Would it be the morning mandate? Taking control of the first hour of your day to build an unshakable core of focus and calm? Would it be the discipline of decision? freeing up immense mental energy by making clear, timely choices and trusting yourself to handle the results? Perhaps it is the action-belief loop, finally understanding that confidence is earned through action, and taking that first small step on a goal that has felt frozen for years. Maybe it's the way you speak to yourself, the vocabulary of victory, and the profound impact that could have on your self-worth. Or maybe it's the people you surround yourself with, your environment of expectation. There is no right answer for everyone, only the right answer for you right now. Identify that one leverage point. Hold it in your mind. This is your entry point. This is where you will sign your name to your own unbreakable contract. Master this one clause. Let it become as natural as breathing. The other clauses will naturally begin to integrate themselves because they are all part of the same system, the same architecture of an unbreakable mind. Your journey does not have to be perfect. It simply has to begin. The principles are laid before you. The path is clear. It is a path of discipline, of action, of conscious choice. It is the path away from the nagging voice of doubt and toward the quiet, powerful certainty of self-command. The unbreakable contract is not a theory. It is a practice. It is something you do every day in the choices you make and the actions you take. You now understand that the enemy was never your circumstances, your past, or your inherent ability. The enemy was an agreement you had with yourself, an agreement to prioritize comfort over growth, to listen to doubt over evidence, to be a passive character in your own story. That agreement can be nullified, starting this very moment. The contract is here. Its clauses are written not on paper, but in the potential of your own will. The pen is in your hand. It is your attention, your focus, your decision, your action. Signing it requires no grand ceremony, only a quiet, internal shift followed by a tangible, physical step. It is the decision to do the morning mandate tomorrow. It is the decision to make one clear choice you've been putting off. It is the decision to take one small action in spite of how you feel. This is your moment of sovereignty. You are the author, the signatory, and the enforcer of your own unbreakable contract. The world needs the strength, the creativity, and the contribution that have been locked inside you, held captive by the old terms. It is time to release them. It is time to build. It is time to become. The only question that remains is the most important one you will ever answer. Will you sign your name?